It's interesting. As I finish my chocolate chip muffin here, I was talking to a friend of mine, and about my divorce, and they were kind of shocked at how it all came about and went down. Because if you listen to the previous episodes, you know that it's kind of came out of the blue for me. Yes, my ex-wife and I, we were having some issues, but nothing crazy. I mean, no one was throwing plates, but there was no abuse. We didn't hate each other, but there was no. I mean, it just came out of the blue. There was no, raising of the hands. Guy, I think I have some issues here. I'm not happy. Blah blah blah. None of that. And as I was telling this person, talking to them about this, they said, what do you do? There's nothing. There's like no lessons here. I mean, you can't do anything. And I thought to myself, the lesson for me is you gotta keep moving forward. You can't allow yourself to fold. You can't look. The lesson here is how you look at this and how you move on and what you do with what's going on right now. We're in a particular situation. We both have 50-50 of the kids. We had practically just moved here about maybe 2 years ago. And it turns out that I'd kind of like to move, quite frankly, but I'm not leaving the kids. And ideally, I'd like to move with my ex-wife and have everyone move, and we can work together again. But she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to move, and that's her prerogative. But what do I do with that? It's very easy, I think, to feel as if this person has control over me. They're making these decisions, and I can't do anything about it. Well, as another one of my wise friends pointed out, I do have a decision. I can leave. I can go, but I'm choosing not to. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to leave my kids. I want to be in my kids' life. And, but my point here is that when the shit hits the fan, it sucks. But I'm refusing to sit in the corner with a blanket over my head and weep. Am I angry? Yeah. Am I pissed off? Yeah. But I don't want that to just infuse my body. I don't want that toxicity to run rampant in my system, because we all know what happens. You can't do anything. You can't get out of bed. You can't work. You're just pissed off all the time. And I don't want to do that. Okay, so what am I doing now? How can I make the best of my situation? How can I thrive? I want to thrive in this world. And hang on one sec. I got to take off my sweater here. I'm getting kind of hot. All right, back. It's sometimes easy to go to the place where you're like, okay, what does this mean? Why did this happen to me? What did I miss? And blah, 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 blah. And that's not helping me right now. How do I make the best of this? Okay, if I want to move, because I'm not really happy here for whatever reasons, and I want to go back to, my home state and where my family is, and I can get more support and bring my kids there. And we had been living there. We had been living there before we moved here. But if my ex-wife doesn't want to go, and I don't want to leave the kids, I'm kind of in a holding pattern. I'm in a holding pattern. And that's my choice. I recognize that. That is my choice. So this process is about getting a hold of how you're looking at this, what your perspective is, and how are you going to deal with it? What am I going to do? I've got to dig in and create an incredible life for myself and my kids. And it sounds hard. I mean, it's hard. This is hard. It's fucking hard. The other day, I was like, I got into bed and I was like, oh my God, this is really hard. Taking care of the kids by myself. I've got the dog and da-da-da. I feel like I'm complaining, but this is where I'm at. And I want to look back on this time and know that I did the best I could, that I was as strong as I could be, that I was as positive as I could be, and that I was resourceful to create an incredible life for myself and my kids as possible. That's what I want to do. And it's not always easy to do, right? Because this process, when you go through a divorce like this, and man, let me tell you something. Prior to this, as I've said before, you hear about people getting divorced and you hear how hard it is, but it doesn't hit home. I think just like when you don't have kids and people talk about kids, you're like, it doesn't resonate. But when you go through it and when you're on the non-initiating end of it, right? You haven't initiated it. When you're surprised, when it's out of the blue, completely fucking out of the blue, it jolts. It's a kind of a cataclysmic event. It's an earthquake to your life. It's traumatizing. It upends your sense of meaning, your sense of identity, and that's certainly what it has done for me. And each day, not unlike so many of the other challenges we all go through, we have a choice about how we're going to go through this. And it's a constant wake-up call. Did I deserve this? What's happening? Am I such a bad person that, look, I'm not dying. I don't have cancer, thank God. But this is my reality, and this is how I'm dealing with it and trying to deal with it as best as I can. So if you're going through something similar and you're like fucking pissed off at it and it's not working for you and you didn't expect it and it's not what you want and how you want to live, and you have a choice about your perspective, about how you're going to look at this, what you're going to do with it, and how you're going to get better because of it. That's it. I mean, it sounds like a friggin' self-help book, but it's the truth. We have choices in this world, right? I can move. I can get up and move tomorrow, but I'm choosing not to because I don't want to leave my kids, right? Again, if my ex-wife wanted to move, we could all move together as a unit, kind of like we are now. We're living separately, but we're taking care of the kids. I would do that. But that's her choice. She doesn't want to move. What can I do about that? So now I've got to bob and weave and move on, and one step forward. How do I create a life for myself, a thriving life for myself and my kids? That's it. And I would encourage you to do the same. But we have no choice. You've got to move forward, right? If you're not moving forward, you're spinning your wheels. Okay, I don't want to spend time doing that. I can't. All right, let's take care of business. Let's do this. Have an awesome day.